I think that if you're going to give up 2 gods, it shouldn't be the Athena and the Baron, considering how flexible they were. Benji playing the Guardian just goes to show, like, he's still bringing in the damage and also the assists at every single moment. So I think you got to take away one or the other. Maybe give away potentially the Naja instead, if that's going to be Scream's choice. Not worry so much about the globals.
One of their bans was the Morgan, I believe, as well. I mean, is that one that they can let through in favor of, I mean, like, banning away the Baron or the Athena, or is that going to do just as much damage?
I think the mistake that they did was they let an odd number of picks through. When you're first pick, you want to do an even number, not an odd.
And unfortunately, too many valuable picks are able to go to the other side. But let's go ahead and get picks and bans for Game 2 underway and on the screen. Splyce electing to be the first pick yet again. This time, though, they're going to have to make some adjustments and not let eUnited be so comfortable, because that was another thing I felt totally. I don't think eUnited were ever under pressure in Game 1. They were sort of the ones who were establishing it. There were a few team fights where eUnited lost a member or two, and they were still the ones that felt like calling the shots afterwards.
Well, Splyce still got some Goal Furies under the belt in that last game, but I think eUnited, when they got the Goal Furies, they were just running away with it completely because of the later stage team fights, respawns being longer, so they get the Goal Fury a little bit easier.
Let's see what adjustments they want to make. So far, not looking like too many. Morgan and Serket being banned out here by Splyce. eUnited banning the Naja and the Freya. That means Chernobog, Athena certainly are available one more time. What's Splyce going to value this time to try and make sure it's not the same thing? Well, it's the Chernobog.
Well, Baron was open as well, so like I said, it's an odd number of picks between the top 5. If I was Splyce there, I'd probably first pick something that's not Chernobog, Baron, or the Athena, so that way eUnited can only get 2, you're going to get the remaining member.
That's right, you kind of guarantee that you get one and get a chance to try and grab one more value pick, as it is going to be the Athena Baron. And I mean, at this point, like, why not, right?
Yeah,
if you're
if it ain't broke, don't fix it. eUnited just going to run it back.
Now, should Cyno run the Chernobog? Again, that's another question. It's fine to pick it. Maybe just give this one over to CycloneSpin and try and get Cyno on something that can sort of be a bit more utility for the team, that can sort of put on the brakes when the other team has kind of run away with that early pressure.
I don't mind that play, actually, because if there's going to be global pressure from the Thor out of Scream, maybe put Cyno on Ratatoskr instead, allow CycloneSpin to play the Chernobog. So now the theme was globals for eUnited last game. We could probably see the reverse in Game 2.
Try and get some available here for Splyce, and right now their rotation ability is very strong between the Ratatoskr and the Chernobog and Cerberus there. Wherever you get, if there's a Cerberus, you have a hefty team fighter on your side, shredding away those protections as well.
Another Neith pick, probably going to go to Baskin. I can't see PandaCat playing this goddess, but at the end of the day, who knows? With on her band, probably going to go for an aggressive god if I'm PandaCat, specifically the Uller.
Yeah, Uller wouldn't be a surprise to see from him at all, but I'm glad that the on her band has come out. This has been a comfort pick for PandaCat. I'm not saying he's the kind of guy that's not going to look equally good on the next pick,
but
at least force my man to do something different, right? To get him off of it.
And you got to force all of eUnited to do something different at the end of the day. The god pool is so diverse.
It is.
Scream might not even play Thor, honestly, this game. He's like, yeah, just give me best at...
Yeah, I was thinking best at actually with mine.
Right,
but Batz, that's what's going to be the idea here, because I don't know, man. Is Athena Baron enough control? I don't think so.
No, you want to add a Fear No Evil to it.
Yeah, just to make sure, because you don't have that much
100%.
of it. Right? Guaranteed no way that you're going to be able to get away from a composition like this once they catch you. But Zhong comes in, and now I like this because Splyce is saying, yeah, you have a bunch of control, but now who's your target? Who on this team do you want to try and pick?
Very true. eUnited going to need to deal with all that AoE damage. They still an Isis available if they really want to lock it in, and then give Neith to PandaCat if they really want to counter the Zhong. If they want to be super fancy, maybe pick up Nemesis, run double assassins, but instead of the strategy, they're going to stick to their guns. The double hunter, Artemis and PandaCat, it's like peanut butter and jelly.
They work well together. Do you think we're going to see the Baron support one more time there for PolarBearMike, or maybe this Athena?
I'm definitely going to see the Baron support. There's no reason to change that situation back up. You're going to be against probably a Cerberus in that support role. Zhong is going to go in the solo lane for Divios. So I'm looking for any which way to isolate Aror the same way eUnited was so successful in doing that Game 1.
See if they can get that to work for them one more time. And do you think eUnited is just going to win one more time, or do you think maybe Splyce has this one? You got your chance to vote right now. Hit those polls and let us know what you're thinking. It's curious that they made the adjustment in jungle here for eUnited when they didn't really have to kind of show anything else. They didn't have the Thor band. The Artemis, essentially, they were forced to make the adjustment there. eUnited just happy to kind of go with this in bots this time. Screen playing whatever he feels like.
Against the Ratatoskr, it wouldn't surprise me to just wait for the kind of spin to win and then look for that Fear No Evil.
Right.
Anytime you're turning around a corner, I'm more afraid of a Hun Batz than I am of a Thor.
I think I'm right there with you. This Unbots can certainly have a big impact for them, but they're going to get those picks underway into the action right here, right now. Game 2, give it over to Tom and Aggro.
Thanks a lot, John. Thanks a lot, Toli. Here in game number 2, eUnited have a very similar composition to what they started with in game number 1, except better, in my opinion. Not better overall, but better at what the composition does, and that's just isolate one person, pull them into a spot where they don't want to be, and put them in the ground. The dislocation here, Ryan, is out of control.
It is, and the beads burning potential as well. I mean, you look at Artemis ult, gotta beats it, cannot. Can't afford to not beat an Athena taunt in a mid-game team fight. Can't afford to not beat Fear No Evil.
Yep.
You can only beat one of those things sometimes. So this is going to be a tough game for Splyce. I do think the moswal on a comfort pick in the Zhong is interesting. I like that he's starting off with the little helmet, number 1, because I think the idea of Zhong wearing that little helmet is very funny, but also because I think it's really good against what the composition wants to do, which is punish him with use of this Neith in the mid lane for Baskin.
Yeah, it's kind of like a little Fez.
Yeah.
Or like a Yamaka.
Yeah, I think it's just funny.
Oh, well.
Like if he wore that little green hat.
Well, he's already wearing a hat. Would it be a hat on top of the hat?
Yes.
Hat under the hat, maybe?
On top.
On top.
Yep.
Roger that. My favorite thing about Zhong, actually, if we could go back to him, like ride along with him in the third person. I like his little ears, the little antenna things.
Yeah. I was really hoping that we were going to go somewhere real with that, but apparently that wasn't an option at that point. Divios has got to use the purification beads, with Scream going to jump in looking for Cyno. Cyno, I don't think, got his dash. Does have beads this time around, no blink, and thanking his lucky stars for that pickup, because he was dead to rights without him.
Moswal now trying to deal with Baskin and Scream. Baskin playing defensively and Scream really not interested, so just a little bit of extra damage.
Divios playing Ratatoskr in the solo lane I was really thinking that this was going to be, as Anatoly said, Zhong in the solo lane, Chernobog mid with Ratatoskr jungle.
Right.
But no surprise that Splyce being stubborn about what they think is good, which is a good quality to have as a team. You got to believe in what you're practicing and don't just switch it up because of a bad game here or there. But Divios being able to buy his acorn. We saw him nearly get soloed by Benji in that lane not long ago, and now he's in complete control. And that's because a lot like Chang'e doesn't need to back to base in order to buy. And, well, for him it's only this item, but it's his most important one, and that's the acorn of Yggdrasil. This is such a good item for 20% movement speed, 50 physical power, and the big thing is that heal that he gets in lane is going to make it nearly impossible for Benji to outtrade him.
That was the original thing that made the Ratatoskr solo so entertaining, was the heal aspect. I actually think Divios started this in the old iteration of Rat where there were options. Now you only get the heal, and I think Divios was very excited that that was the direction that the character went into, because it's staying in lane really is one of the linchpins of what allows this to be successful here as a solo laner. A lot of disruption with the ultimate, able to get to team fights that he's not supposed to be at, just like Cyno, so that'll help out as well. That's basically Divios' job here, is to play bruiser, not straight tank. He's going to be a bruiser here for Splyce.
Now, this isn't the first time that Divios has played this during the fall split, if memory serves. And again, if memory serves, he went for Lono's Mask last time he picked this up, and I got to say I was not a fan of that, because Ratatoskr, his threat is that he's prot-treading you, he's CCing you, he's annoying, he's in your face, and he will also kill you if you let him sit there too long, even with a solo tanky build. But Lono's really takes that off the table and means that Divios really needs to rely on the whole team. Now, the team aspect obviously very important at competitive play, but I think that having a solo laner that can disrupt you and agitate you, but also kill you if you just outright ignore them, is important. That's why Cullen is so good, because he'll just kill you if you don't look at him. Osiris is the same way. Ratatoskr with Lono's Mask doesn't have that threat, and I think that took away from the effectiveness of this pick, so I'd like to see Divios go in a different direction.
Same, and there are some solo laners that I agree with your general sentiment, and I think that their solo lane is a spot where you can have a playstyle, and some solo laners are just straight tanks. And I think if that's the mentality It's not my favorite approach, but I understand that you can approach it that way and you can do that. Sure, go for it. Divios is not that guy.
Sure.
He's playing the Hercules characters that are trying to kill you, right? So I agree. I would like to see him leave the Lonos mask in the base, go a different direction, a more hybrid direction. Especially when he's got a tanky mid laner like moswal. He doesn't need to be a straight up tank here. It's not the role that the Ratatoskr is going to be playing in this game. So I really hope he does lean towards a little bit of that hybridization.
We talked a bit about the shortcomings of Splyce's last composition. They had a good mix of AoE and single target damage, but not great setup for it. This time, much better. They've got Aror on this Cerberus. That Prot Shred is going to make moswal do a ton of damage, which is going to be AoE. He can group people up for Cyno, who is single target, as is CycloneSpin, to make sure that at least Cyno's damage is going to be hitting multiple people off of that Stygian Torment. I think Splyce's composition this time around is much better balanced. We'll see if it ends up being better.
Oh, Scream in a rough spot, going to be ulted, dropping ult himself. More defensive than anything else. Now trying to get out. Cyno covers the top option. Scream in trouble. Aegis is good enough until CycloneSpin finds the branching Bola. Now eUnited on the run. Ratatoskr from the right side lands on Baskin. That's a big play. Might be enough to separate and cut him down. Divios with kill number 2.
And Divios is likely out of danger now. Benji has his dash up, but no one else from eUnited is coming. Man, Benji, hello, did a ton of damage. Divios not out at all. So at least eUnited gets something, but great engagement by Splyce, who had great left side mid camp control in particular in the last game. And there it ends up really paying off because Scream hops on over, not really worried about what's going on, and is then left without an ultimate where after he's pulled in, he's left without purification beads. He's just got that Aegis.
Scream now in trouble for the second time in as many minutes. Just barely getting away. Gonna thank his lucky stars for now as moswal can't walk closer because of Baskin. Cyno on the back camps. Gonna pick him up. I thought Baskin was gonna go in there. That's why I was like in that mode still. I thought Cyno or Baskin was just gonna walk in willy-nilly to the jungle because those are the types of plays we're used to seeing Baskin do.
Sometimes that is definitely a play that you'll see him make, but right now is a good opportunity for eUnited to try and play aggressive as soon as these ultimates are up because Splyce used every relic in the bank during that last fight. Benji's got teleport, so that's not going to be a big deal, but having beads on Baskin and PandaCat, and like I already said, there's so much CC that you need to beads on eUnited's comp that you can't really afford to not.
moswal is gone right here. Nice combination to the dual lane, making their way to the left side mid Harpies. So eUnited pick up another kill, now 2-2. It's 7 minutes in, tied up, and they're all relevant categories. One of the things I do like about Splyce this time around is the fact that Divios, I'm loving the build. So we saw what happened in that team fight originally where Divios was going to land on the back line. Roar and Cyclone getting a little testy here. Lucky that Spirit Arrow didn't connect. But he goes into the Oni Hunters. Divios knows his job is to ult, land in the middle of a team fight, and try to stun people. That's his entire job. And so he itemizes into it right away from the get-go.
Love it, because it's also 1,900 gold. So it's not like he's slowing down his build. He's getting into his next item that much faster.
Wildly efficient.
It was so good at the early stages of the game. And Splyce should really count themselves lucky that they didn't get hit by more than just one kill on the moswal while all those beads were down. Now everything is coming up simultaneously for the Splyce boys, and their safety level just went through the roof. And also credit to them, it's not just luck. They made sure they weren't going to be put in a spot where they'd be forced to fight the team of eUnited.
Scream right now, level 7, starting up that, well, it could be either Transcendence or Hydra's Lament. I think both are applicable to the monkey, and you might just see both. But it's been interesting watching him play in the early game because Scream plays a lot of... Scream has a very large god pool, but let's be honest, it's all early game for the most part. He's got the Awilicious, he's got the Ravens, right? He's got all these early game characters, and Batz is not a character that can gank you at level 3 in most circumstances. So watching him try to navigate that the early game was a little problematic. But eUnited able to get out of there even with a slight lead. So now at level 8, that's a past conversation, and he's able to just do the thing.
Scream is definitely a team fighting assassin. He loves the Bastats and things like that. Divios just got two ults for one, and is very pleased with that result. Had beads anyways, so I don't think that ever ends up in a kill for Scream, but potentially. though Divios, like I said, very happy because he's got plenty of CDR working. At least should have it fairly soon. But you're right. I mean, Scream isn't the Kali player. He's the Susano player.
Yeah.
The one that's going to really do well in the middle of the team fights. And Batz still fits that bill. It's no surprise it's a pick for him in the God Pool, but it does not have the same level of early game that something like a Willish has.
Yeah, that was the second part of my conversation. Divios on the tower right now, dashing away. If he gets hit one more time, taunt, it's good.
And the beads.
Benji out of control on this Athena pick. And Benji's Athena separates itself from all of the other jungle and solo lane Athenas that I've seen in a long time, Ryan. He just stays aggressive with it. Other players, after their second item, go, okay, I'm tank Athena now. Benji doesn't internalize that, and he stays aggressive. Reminds me of Lazaro from the minor league, honestly.
Beautiful play by PBM there. Knows Aurora is going to use Stygian Torment as he gets close, so he turns away the coffin, and then as soon as Stygian Torment CC immunity wears off, says, okay, now I stun you. Knowing that jump was down, really, really smart play there by PBM, and that nets eUnited another kill.
Small mechanics make for big plays. PolarBearMike coming through right there. The player coach, as I affectionately call him. Really impressive stuff. No surprise that he's able to make this Baron a very effective part of his arsenal. That's always been the thing about Mike that I don't want to say criticism, because it's like you were talking about before. If I only have 3 picks, but you can't beat those 3 picks, it doesn't matter. That's kind of where Mike felt like. He played the hot guardian of the moment, Athena, right, and just kept at it, but very rarely gets beat up. So seeing him stray and go to different options is really fun for me because I think he's a top-level player. And watching him bring the new stuff is great.
Has Aegis, doesn't use it right away. Divios cuts off the only escape option and Scream's side. He'd rather hold on to that relic, which is the right call. He's dead to rights in that spot, but at least we'll now have a relic when he respawns.
I thought maybe he could get out there with the Aegis.
Maybe if he Aegises the damage from through the Cosmos, because there's going to be burst damage coming off of it.
Right.
That's your. But as soon as he gets knocked up and takes that damage, he's dead.
Rough spot. Rough spot there for Scream. Falls down the second time this contest already. 11 minutes in. Not too long of a game so far. Scream already fallen down a couple of times. A little bit problematic for him. But his team, unconcerned, still up 1,000 gold.
Divios has doubled down on the cheap build and gone for the Gladiator Shield right away. So he's built 2 items since his Acorn has been completed, and it cost him a total of 3,600 gold, which is basically nothing for 2 items. One is a tier 2 in the Glad Shield, and so this doesn't give him a whole lot of actual HP, but it gives him effective HP with damage mitigation from the Oni Hunters, with the sustain that the Glad Shield will give him. That's that CDR as well. His actual health pool doesn't seem particularly big, but it'll be difficult to bring him down regardless.
eUnited with another successful invade, continuing to push their lead casually and slowly and quietly up, bit by bit. Not really any gigantic team fights, more pick here and invade there, and slowly and steadily eUnited are looking to drain the life out of Splyce this time around, as opposed to last time where it was this team fight, team fight, team fight, Neith just ulting on cooldown, and it felt like eUnited were just trying to win the game at minute 5. Splyce now, whether they're hanging in a little bit better or eUnited playing things a little bit more calculated, I think is probably the real conversation there. Either way, a slower pace for our game number 2.
Divios in the midst of 2 gets his dash caught, and that'll cost him his beads. He'll actually use through the Cosmos as well, because Benji was underneath, does half of moswal HP by himself.
On the back, there's going to be the reinitiation from Divios. And Aurora is able to take care of Scream. It's 4-4 so far. Scream seems to keep falling down for eUnited. And it's rough because if you're dying often, but your Fear No Evils are having the impact that they're supposed to, it's not that big a deal. And right now, everything's all even or essentially tied for the most part. So eUnited aren't going to be crying about it too much. But if this trend continues, Ryan, that's Splyce's entrance into this, I don't want to say into this game, but into this series, is by exploiting the fact that Scream is down, perhaps behind. And if they're able to keep him down and behind, then that's a world that Splyce are very interested in.
Well, the counter engage for Splyce is phenomenal in this game. They've got ultimates that gives themselves CC immunity to get them out of Fear No Evil, that also let them reinitiate onto Scream very easily. Through the Cosmos did it right there.
Yep.
Living Nightmare from Cyno will do that, where, yeah, I'm going to blink on him. Oh, he reacted in time. I'll jump away because now I'm in trouble and didn't hit the target I wanted. but then Cyno just gets to follow me and has all his cooldowns back up. The counter engage is just really solid for eUnited.
Halfway done with the Gold Fury, eUnited playing defense, and that's going to be nice and easy. Support player PolarBearMike brings 2 players in, and Divios brings himself in, knocking up PBM and walking away. Just kind of ding-dong ditch there from the jungle, rather the solo lane Ratatoskr. And so eUnited stuff their pockets right quick, walk away, 2,500, 2,600. Be precise, in the lead.
moswal and Cyno just kind of let that zone happen by PBM. I mean, it's a 2-on-1 with 2 damage dealers. Now, moswal doesn't do a lot of damage right now because of the Celestial Legion helm start. But Cyno does, and not only do they both get zoned, but Cyno uses the beads. I think that we're seeing a lot of people go through the same mental block that I think a lot of players had about Raijin, where Tycho Drums comes up, he's big, he's scary, he's got cool drums and says cool stuff, and then you just run away. But really, a lot of times, the best thing you can do is stand your ground and just beat him up. Baron has damage mitigation during life of the party. I understand. But you still can throw an auto attack, can't you?
You can also try to find your way out of that scenario. moswal had beads and the ultimate, which, you know, just fight fire with fire, right? Just go all out. Allow Cyno to sneak on through. I'm with you. I think there was a way for that one to happen. PandaCat now trying to find his way out of this one. CycloneSpin making great use. Great use of those minions. Break it down, Ryan.
Just use the minions. No way you can punch through them. As through the Cosmos comes through, eUnited able to get that Pyromancer done. Screams Fear No Evil this time is defensive, as PBM and Baskin should be able to escape. But moswal's lurking, and moswal has Blink.
Benji's here as well, though. Divios going to use the beads, get sucked, and then dashed away. Meanwhile, moswal just collapsed on Scream with the kill.
He had beads in that spot, but didn't use them and just got sucked all the way in, then beads the stun itself. moswal's had a rough few weeks coming back to the SPL. He's been really, really good during the minor league. Definitely was worthy of a call-up.
Yep.
Sometimes, whether it's extenuating circumstances, I know he had to miss a set where Best ended up looking pretty good, which is not what you want to see as a starter for your team, which is you want him to win, but not have the guy replacing you doing really well for you.
Exactly.
It's kind of what happened. Now another rough game 1 for moswal, and this hasn't been looking a whole lot better for him here. I just hope he's able to move past it, because it seems to be mental in my mind, unless there's some sort of connectivity issue or whatever where he can't play at his full potential. You got to imagine that it's just mental for him. It's definitely better than what he shot.
Divios now tussling with Benji here. 2 levels Benji's dashing away, and Benji continuing to stay aggressive. Latest item purchased will be the Void Stone, providing a little bit of damage next to a little bit of defense. So nice keeping that in mind. Benji trying to stay a bruiser here. Like I said, not many Athenas really cling to that mentality. So one of my favorite Athena players, honestly, is Benji.
Aror's got to jump away, and PBM has life of the party. There it is, going to use it right away. Stygian Torment there, same combo yet again.
Really clean. And what I love is that it's not, he's just moving the small amount that he has to.
Yep.
It's very surgical, very precise. And PolarBearMike finding the intricacies of the character.
And you might be asking, why is Aror doing the same thing? It didn't work last time. Well, what choice does he really have in that spot? He's just got to try and stare down the barrel of the gun and time it properly. Maybe if he slams Stygian Torment right away, he gets CC immunity in time to not get pulled at all, but it's a short CC duration on Stygian Torment. You really don't stay gold for long.
Benji playing defense 1 versus 2. 200s. Oh, I thought they were going to stick to it. The lonely Athena.
Level 18 Athena. Who cares how alone she is? She's got a big level advantage. And yes, the rest of eUnited's pushing right now, but you've got a Neith ultimate that can come through. He's got Sunder. Benji could easily 1v1 one of these hunters at this point.
Well, Divios wishing he had a 1v1. Gets collapsed on by 3.5. The half being Tusky, of course. Right side being eUnited's dinner. Tier 2 tower goes down without a care in the world. Aror has to jump away as well. Scream jumping over the wall, looking for moswal. Fear no evil. And there's moswal healing up. Is it good? Just enough. But Baskin from a distance takes down the mid laner.
Scream getting chased by Cyno. Great blink by Cyno right on time. He brings down Scream, but he already lost a couple other members of the squad. Splyce get 1, but lose 3 and both right side towers. And eUnited looked tempted by that fire giant. Well, at least PandaCat did, but PandaCat is the definition of sometimes the eyes being bigger than the stomach, though it looks like eUnited's going to go for it.
Certainly on their docket. No defense coming out from Splyce either. Cyno might have wanted to put a stop to that, but the answer is no. So eUnited pick up a couple of towers, a fire giant as well. And now we see them leading by about 8,000 gold. Excuse me, 6,000 gold.
Cyno going to commit the dash underneath the tower. PBM very unconcerned with that pressure from even both of these hunters. And instead we'll try and turn the chase around because look at the pathing from Benji and PandaCat cutting underneath Cyno.
Gold Fury side of the map now. eUnited looking to push. What's that?
Yeah, Cyno was able to wiggle out of danger. That was smooth. I think eUnited thought they had the angle on him, but maybe realized once they don't see him around that corner, is there really a whole lot of point in chasing him around to the back camps? Get Gold Fury. Start sieging towers. It's worth your time.
The towers are why we see eUnited on the Gold Fury side of the map. Ratatoskr doing some split pushing. We'll get a tier 1. Also get Benji and Screammmmm here on the right side. That's going to be a nice temporary win. And the eUnited are actually going to back here, so a decent win for Splyce there. Spreading the map with the split push and making Splyce stop at the tier 2.
Cyno used the ultimate to try and catch Screammmmm, and that forced out the blink from eUnited's jungler, but it was also CycloneSpin's ultimate, so both hunters now without their globals means Splyce's team fight doesn't get harmed by that much, but is noticeably worse as Cyno's beads being down and ultimate being down is a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, now Splyce has to play very, very carefully. Their jungle Chernobog not exactly in the healthiest state of mind at the moment. Aror and CycloneSpin transitioned out of the duo lane rather nicely. I have liked their team fight prowess and their team fight presence is really what I meant to say. Really important stuff coming out from this duo lane, although it's so hard. Really, the duo lane is supplemental a lot of the time, specifically the hunter position, and I just don't think enough is going on outside of these two players. Cyno's 2-0-4, I see it, but I'm just not seeing the big plays. Divios could be starting one.
Moswal blinked in, and he's going to be first one out. Screammmmm gets that kill. Aror gets a good staging and torment on a PBM, which brings him down, but costs him his own life.
Now it's a 1-for-2. PolarBearMike sits down. Left side Phoenix being aggressed on. That one will go easy peasy. Don't forget, eUnited also have 2 hunters. So really not that difficult for these objectives, specifically the towers and phoenixes, to be eaten alive either. eUnited with a nice chunky 10,000 gold lead right now.
Not a lot of gold left on the map though. Pyromancer's up, so they can take that, but no more towers left standing. This gold lead isn't going to get that much worse in theory, at least via objectives. For Splyce, it'll just be by eUnited stripping waves away and buff camps away, things of that nature. Splyce, on the other hand, doesn't have that much gold on the map either now that I take a look. They've still got two tier 2 towers they could take down. That's 3k gold, but that's kind of it.
Yep.
They've really gotten a lot of other towers. They've done a great job of splitting the map, getting themselves gold where possible. A lot of that responsibility is on Cyno and on CycloneSpin. Those two have done a good job of that. But now it leaves you to the point where it's like, well, if we win a fight, we're not going to catch up in gold very quickly. Instead, it leaves you with the possibility of maybe we can sneak away a win with an exposed Phoenix on this left-hand side. Still too early for that, but 10 minutes from now, it might not be too early.
Exactly. eUnited's, or Splyce's entire game plan right now is to just wait it out for about 10 minutes. They just got to stall, play decent defense, not chase too far out of their base, and just wait until their itemization matches that of the players across the aisle. eUnited right now, almost 6 slotted for the most part outside of PBM, and then Splyce have about 5-ish items per player. So yeah, about 10 minutes and we see this gap evened up, and then it's anybody's game. But right now, moswal not even, and PandaCat gonna wind up with the kill.
No ward coverage there for Splyce, which is odd. It's not like eUnited was sieging right at that point and they couldn't get a ward in there. They had been defending the base up until that point and could have very easily dropped a ward in that very popular corridor on bottom left and didn't. And moswal steps up a little bit too far.
Ouch. Rough stuff there.
This is a disappointing game, I think, for Splyce.
I agree. I thought there was a lot more I thought there was a lot more in the magazine for Splyce, but just firing blanks today. Not really, I think, their ideal game. And shorts against eUnited, but only so many Johns I can handle. And I think that Splyce are a team that should look to beat eUnited. No doubt about it that eUnited is the top card, and 71% of you guys in Mixer Chat thought that they were going to win Game 1. Sure, I see that. I understand that. But I think Splyce are within striking distance and can at least win a game, but not when they're playing like this. Aror down nice and easy.
Trap set by eUnited as Scream drops the ultimate. CycloneSpin is able to hold on to both relics as Cyno doesn't have a relic. Well, he's got them both, but can't use them because he's on respawn.
Moswal uses his relic, but it's to no avail. Does get damaged out, but not a kill for PandaCat. Double kill for PandaCat, rather. And now CycloneSpin due to be chased down. Scream here with the damage. Cyclone turns, and eUnited burns. Xbalanque in the ground. Divios does get one, but it looks like that's all he'll get. As eUnited will turn on him and kill him.
Will.
Benji, on the other hand. Look at Benji. Let's go to Benji.
Yeah, let's chase him and leave him at 1 HP and then let him go. That
Yeah.
seems like the right idea. Scream is going to try and get this kill, but the rest of the team more concerned with getting the set victory, and they do so pretty easily at this point. eUnited, you mentioned it, the top card in North America, without a doubt the team to beat in the local region, but Splyce are coming off a big win against CLG, and I thought they'd be able to put up a little bit more than that.
I agree. Disappointing set for sure from the black and yellow, so Splyce not going to be able to win this one. 2-0 goes this set to eUnited. Fantastic play from them on the other side. I mean, sticking to the same Neith in the middle lane strategy, but as we discussed on the broadcast,
Why not?
if it ain't broke, do not fix it.
Why not? I mean, what's it going to take to beat this? I mean, you have to pick some mid-lane pressure potentially, the Willish being on the table maybe in the jungle,
Sure.
try and punish this Neith, but someone's got to try and come up with something to beat eUnited, not just this composition, but them as a team.
Them as a team, or they the sum of... Who's the MVP? I'm having a rough afternoon with my words today. But we got there, and eUnited certainly got there. So which individual stood out the most to you guys? That's the question we're going to ask you.
I thought PBM had a great game on the Baron. I think that he was a good MVP target. Benji as well continues to control the pace with that Athena solo. But for my money, I think Mike deserves MVP for once.
He's got MVP quite a few times.
What do you mean? I said he deserves MVP.
You said for once.
No, I didn't.
I think Ryan's a soundboard. Let's just go to the desk.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Aggro, Finch, and Tolly here as eUnited continue to kind of just make their way through the North American SPL seemingly easily. At least they make it look that way on paper. This is the top competition they're going up against, and no one has figured out an answer to them yet.
With Baskin playing the Neith middle, with Scream going for the Thorns and the Hunbats mixing things up, it's difficult to really predict what eUnited is bringing to the table. Splyce couldn't really handle with the best of them. Cyno going the Chernobog in game number 2 yet again. Don't think that was the issue necessarily.
Agreed.
I think the problem relies on how easy eUnited was able to pick off Aror yet again in game number 2. Game 1 he was playing the RDO. A little easier to survive with the Cerberus. I think you got more peels for yourself. And then speaking of the opposite side lane, Benji in the solo lane, he was able to solo Divios that one time. Very impressive stuff.
He absolutely was. He kind of chased him down underneath that tier 1 tower and found the kill with the Athena. And that's what led to him being your MVP, or at least you all voted for him, made this rotation. And this was really necessary. This is when Divios rotated early. I believe it was Cyclone that found a kill along with Divios, and they needed something to sort of turn the tide back in their favor, and Benji was that for them. He got earned as your MVP. But you talked about Cyno and the Chernobog, Tolly, and I want to have that conversation because while I think he played it well, I think it kind of left moswal in a bad position. They never had much control over that mid-jungle, and he kind of got bullied a ton. They need someone that could pressure that Neith.
You're thinking about like 2v2 junglers versus middles, right? And then when you add Chernobog with his Zhong together, it's not necessarily that Cyno and moswal are having synergy issues because of their teamwork. It's more about the picks aren't the most cohesive. moswal, you were talking about him being out of position. There was one time around the 16-minute mark where PandaCat was a little too frisky on the left side. Cyno makes that rotation. eUnited grab a Pyromancer on the right side, and because of that, moswal wanted to get something rolling, get onto revenge, so he overextends a little bit too far. He gets picked off, and specifically 2.5 minutes later was where eUnited really started putting the pedal to the metal, getting 3 for 1, and then the Fire Giant was a clean game from there.
And eUnited, one of the best at closing out once they were able to be the victors. I think multiple times, moswal maybe had a couple steps out of position, but maybe with someone there with a little bit more control, that might get helped out. It's so hard to say, but unfortunately, if you're a Splyce fan, eUnited kind of made quick work of him here and continue to look like a top card, undefeated here in North America. But that's only set 1. We still have plenty more SPL action coming for you. One more set to close out the day, so this is your chance. Go ahead and refill whatever snacks you got, grab another drink, get right back here, and we'll finish out the SPL.